This is perfect. The Rams get the news they have been waiting for about a key player, as well as the reasoning behind a shocking decision in keys to victory heading into tomorrow's game against the Panthers. All that and more on this episode of Rams Digest, and welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we head into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We're on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. We're on 170 away right now. Josh and I believe we can get there by the end of this calendar year 2025. So if you want to be a part of the journey, hit that sub button and click the notification bell right now. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content pieces covering all things Rams, so you do not miss a beat this 2025 NFL regular season. And make sure to leave a like on this video right now. Josh and I will be back duo streaming tomorrow. Early game against the Panthers. 10 a.m. kickoff. We'll be live hopefully by 9:55 to do a bit of a pregame. And before we get into today's video, I just want to wish everybody, hopefully, a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had an amazing time with your close family and friends. But now, it's time to spend some time with us today and tomorrow and for the rest of this NFL season right now. So leave a like on the video for that as well. But now to get into our main story of today, the Rams get some big news about cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon. And this is brought to us by Rams Wire, which we will be getting into right now. The LA Rams have been playing without cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon since the 30-year-old suffered a broken scapula in the team's Week 2 battle with the Tennessee Titans. Witherspoon is returning to the team's secondary on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium, as the team activated him from injured reserve on Saturday. This was their lone roster move ahead of the Week 13 battle. Through the first 2 games of the year, he had allowed just a 56.2% passer rating and 1 catch on 2 targets. LA may ease him back in before letting him fully take back the top spot in the cornerback room. Apologies for the typo there at the bottom. Yeah, I do agree. I don't see him starting this week, especially with Forbes and Durant and Darius Williams playing so well. Roger McCreary is now on injured reserve. I know Josh made a video about that earlier in this week, which is a key loss now. Again, McCreary is a guy you give up assets for. That trade might be a bit of a dud, but if you look at Witherspoon, 6'2", 215. The size you needed to get back into the CB room. 1 pass defense and 3 total tackles. Get some size back in the CB room. Because the Rams are going up against Ted McMillan here against the Panthers. Coming up shortly, Ted McMillan, 6'5", 212. He's a very tall, very physical, big receiver. He's only a rookie, but he uses his size well to his advantage. California guy. Went to high school at Servite. SoCal guy. So definitely a guy who's going to be familiar with potentially some of the Rams players, Rams coaches even. So he's going to be a guy that you really got to cover and look out for. And I do think something else to keep in mind as well is the different positions that the Rams have in the cornerback room. It's the inside and outside. Emmanuel Forbes can kind of play both. That's more of an outside guy, I should say. Emmanuel Forbes. So he's going to keep his outside role. Witherspoon's very versatile. He can play both, as can Kobe Durant. Kobe Durant's kind of been your do-it-all corner. Now that Quentin Lake is on injured reserve, but he kind of filled in as a slot guy as well. So Kobe Durant's done a bit more of that too. Darius Williams is more of an outside corner as well. So I do see Witherspoon fitting more as an inside guy rather than an outside guy once he is fully back integrated into this Rams roster, this Rams group here. And again, in this game, when they're going against, let's face it, a little bit below average starter in Bryce Young, another California guy who wants to succeed. Not this week, but any other week I want to succeed. It is unfortunate that the Rams going to have to deal with that. He's going to have to deal with this elite defense, and he's coming back after missing 9 games with this injury, so that is definitely something to keep an eye on the snap count. Probably going to play around half the game is what I would think. I wanted him healthy for the Lions and Seahawks games, which is where we're really going to need him. Really, the Rams only 2 tough games left on the schedule. There are only 2 games I think they will have a shot to lose in, unless if they rest everyone week 18, then they'll probably lose to the Cardinals. But besides that, the only 2 games where I think the teams are even remotely in the same tier as them throughout the rest of the year, the Lions and Seahawks. Those are the games you want Forbes healthy for, ease him back, and then those games he can have his full impact. But with him coming back, this is key, because without McCreary and without Lake, you were going to be a bit depleted in the secondary room going further, and now you don't have to be. Now you get back your star guy, Ahkello Witherspoon. This is kind of like a trade deadline acquisition in and of itself. Kind of like how the Lakers got LeBron back, and recently not really a trade deadline, but just getting back a great player. You're like, oh, we were already playing so well, and now we have, again, Witherspoon is not a LeBron level corner, but you know what I mean. A guy who can have a very positive impact in this CB room. A guy who can make plays on the field despite maybe being 90-95%. I was kind of surprised he was back this week when I saw that earlier today, kind of shocked me a bit. I was like, yeah, I thought he was going to be back next week. That's kind of what I expected. I was happy that his window got open. I expected that. But now that he's here, this is great for the Rams. This is perfect. This is a game that kind of ease him back, as I've been saying, and then you really let him go. And let's see if he plays more outside or more inside. I think he's going to really help shadow Ted McMillan wherever he lines up, because I'm sure the Panthers are going to, force their hand, mix up looks with Ted McMillan to really try to get him the ball here. So comment down below right now your thoughts on Witherspoon, his injury return, and how he's going to fit in with this team. I think he's going to be a Swiss Army knife guy. Play outside, play inside. Not so much when Forbes is on the field, but when Durant's on the field, you're definitely going to see him play more outside. When Durant's off the field is who I think he's going to more so rotate with, is he's going to be inside, because Forbes has been so good that I think he's going to kind of be your every snap corner from now on. But comment that down below right now, what you think about that as well. But now we have our second story of the day, and that is Joshua Karty was actually cut by the Rams yesterday. And Sean McVay had some more to say about this in his reasoning, and this is also from Rams Wire that we will be getting into right now. The LA Rams made the very unsurprising move to waive kicker Joshua Karty this week. Following Harrison Mevis' solid 3-game stint as a starting kicker, Karty became expendable. However, Rams head coach Sean McVay told reporters this week the team intended to keep both Karty and Mevis on the roster, but other positions dealing with injuries, McVay and the team decided to allocate roster spots elsewhere. We have McVay's quote for you right now. It was just roster management, and we ended up putting many guys on IR, McVay said. We've gotten a little bit banged up at the DB position. You put offensive lineman Rob Havenstein and tight end Tyler Higbee on IR. With what you want to do and the tight ends on the back end, and really projecting and thinking about your overall 48 and 53, it was just exclusively a numbers thing. It's just hard to keep two kickers when some of the things that have come up did. And I do agree with Sean McVay that it is definitely difficult when you have a lot of guys going on injured reserve, guys in and out of the lineup, that it is tougher to keep everybody happy, keep everybody on this roster that you need for the game. Because Karty, unless if Mevis got suddenly injured, which you hope not, going to knock on my wooden desk here, but that doesn't happen. But unless if that happens, you're not going to see another kicker on the field, at least right now, because Mevis hasn't done anything for himself to be removed from a game. So I understand this, but we will see if they are both kept on the roster. And McVay didn't rule out the possibility of bringing Karty back on the practice squad if he clears waivers, though. We have another quote from McVay for you right now. I'm certainly hopeful that the journey does continue with us in that capacity, McVay added, if that's something that works out for us. Yeah, I hope so too. Again, Joshua Karty, McVay said when they made the change they wanted to work with Karty, develop Karty still, and I do see that still being a key possibility here for this Rams team of something that has a real chance to work out for sure. But for right now, Mevis is your guy at the kicker position because he has done so well, and there's no reason to change right this very second. And Karty had been wildly inconsistent all year for LA before this transaction. While he was great at knuckleball kickoffs, Karty was also missing a lot of extra points and field goals. He missed 8 of his 41 total attempts this season and ranked near the bottom of the league in kick conversion rate. We do have those stats for you. Joshua Karty, 10 for 15 on field goal attempts, 66.7%, and 23 for 26 on extra point attempts, 88.5%, both down from his rookie year. The extra point percentage really should be in the 90s every time. No excuse why it shouldn't be. Field goals should be in the upper 80s if you're trying to be a great kicker, which is, you can look at teams like the Chiefs. I know they're not winning, but it's not kicker's fault. Ravens had, Justin Tucker for so many years. Obviously, we know what happened there. But now they have Tyler Loop, who's also been doing really well. Look at the Seahawks with a good kicker. You look at the Lions with a good kicker. The Eagles, the Cowboys, teams that are in playoff contention. The Steelers with Chris Boswell, the Bills, Chargers, obviously, Broncos. Like every great team has great kickers. And for the Rams, you did not have one. And Will Mevis, the stats have been better. Not Will Mevis, Harrison Mevis, I should say, is perfect so far through 3 games. 1 for 1 off field goals, 13 for 13 on extra points. There's no reason to move on from him right now. And if he's good throughout the rest of the year, I think you re-sign Mevis for 1 full season and see how he does, and then give him a multi-year deal if he's still good. The thicker kicker has been doing it for the Rams so far, and he's really helped the Rams win games rather than lose them, which is what Karty has done. Obviously, the long snapper change, too, from Ward back to McQuaid, I think has really helped as well. The blocking has been better for Mevis. So, again, that's also kind of something you want to keep an eye on. If you're Joshua Karty, you can say, hey, I didn't have this blocking. He's right. Sometimes he didn't. But Harrison Mevis has executed when Karty did not. While McVay didn't cite Karty's production as another reason for his release, the need to bring in Mevis was absolutely spurred by Karty's issues on the field. Mevis, meanwhile, has been perfect for the Rams. He's hit all 13 of his extra points in both of his field goal attempts, including a 52-yarder. McVay said he good about the Rams' kicking situation now as the team heads into a pivotal Week 13 matchup that could extend the team's lead in the NFC. Yes, it definitely can. Key matchup coming up here for the Rams for sure. And leave in the comments down below right now what you think of that as well. Did they make the right move waiving Karty? If he does clear waivers, should they bring Karty back on the practice squad to try and still develop him? Leave that in the comments right now down below. And don't go anywhere just yet from this video, as I will have a score prediction for you coming up at the end for tomorrow's game. But now we have our final story of the day. Some keys to victory for the Rams against the Panthers. We got 5 of them coming from Turf Show Times, and we will get to those right now. First, you got to take away underneath throws. Bryce Young has struggled at times this season, and that's usually when defenses force him to go through his progressions. When Young isn't pressured, he ranks 30th in EPA per dropback, but under pressure he is 18th. That doesn't mean that the Rams shouldn't pressure Young, but they need to muddy the picture for him on the back end and take away the immediate throws. This season, Young has been very good on short throws via PFF, completing 82% of his passes. However, on intermediate routes, Young's accuracy drops to 52%. If the Rams can get Young to target the middle of the field while still leaving a roof over the secondary and taking away on the underneath passes, they should get him to target tighter windows. I do agree. Again, we saw Bryce Young have a great game against the Falcons a couple weeks ago, a career-defining game, and then had the bad game against the Niners where your defense really helps you out and you can't do anything. So it's really a mixed bag with him, but I do agree taking away those throws. Ted McMillan's the guy that you really got to cover, as I mentioned earlier with Witherspoon. He's going to help with that. But I do agree. They should still pressure Bryce Young. Bryce Young, not the biggest guy either in the back there under center. So definitely kind of easier to sack too. So the Rams do have to really kind of find that divide of bringing pressure and not bringing pressure. Chris Shula's done a great job at that. He does a great job in mixing looks, disguising coverages. And I have no reason to believe why he will not continue to do a great job at this. I believe he will continue doing a great job. And next is you got to help Emmanuel Forbes with Ted McMillan. Much has been said about the resurgence of corner Emmanuel Forbes this season. But that said, Forbes will have a new test on Sunday to show just how much he's improved. Forbes has consistently struggled against a certain type of wide receiver. It's always been the big physical wide receiver that has given Forbes issues simply because of the disparity in size. That's been the case this season as well. Forbes struggled against Alec Iomanner earlier this year against the Titans, and A.J. Brown has always given him issues. Well, one of them is A.J. Brown, which is a bit different. When the Eagles actually throw him the ball, good things happen. I know, it's shocking, isn't it, Kevin Petula? But that's besides the point for another day. And Iomanner really kind of gave the Rams as a whole trouble and almost led them to losing to the Titans. So, Emmanuel Forbes, not the biggest guy, 180 pounds, Ted McMillan, 212. So, again, huge size advantage here. So, again, Witherspoon is going to have to be that guy to help out Forbes in coverage here. And Ahkello Witherspoon has been back at practice this week and should have a chance to play. That's the player the Rams will want to put on Ted McMillan, who has a size advantage at Forbes at 6'4", 212. I have 6'5". We'll see what his size actually is. The rookie wide receiver has had an underrated season with 783 yards and 5 touchdowns. McMillan has only converted 3 of 12 contested catch opportunities, but he's very good at finding ways to get open. I sense that will get better throughout Ted's career. Ted's a very big guy. He did that at Arizona very, very well, and I do see that transferring to the NFL. McMillan's very good. He's very underrated just because Bryce Young isn't that great, but Ted McMillan has been awesome so far as a rookie. And I do see him being doubled a little bit because outside McMillan, Xavier Legette is a little Hunter Renfrow, I believe, is still on the roster. So outside of Ted McMillan, the Panthers don't really have too much about receiver. The tight end room is kind of non-existent there. I mean, Rico Dowdle's awesome, so that's the main guy that you're going to have to stop there. But if they can't get the pass game going and they can't get Ted McMillan because Forbes and Witherspoon are doing such a good job, that really limits the Panthers' options. They're just going to have to run Rico Dowdle into the ground if they want a chance, if the Rams are able to stop their passing attack. And you got to attack the Panthers' secondary. The Panthers' defense could be in rough shape on Sunday. Cornerback J.C. Horn hasn't practiced this week due to a concussion, while safety Trayvon Moore gets suspended for an incident last week against the 49ers. Former Ram Christian Roseman could miss the game as well, adding more problems at linebacker. At first glance, the Rams should be able to do what they want against this Panthers secondary. I agree. Coming into this game, the Panthers are the worst team at defending tight ends, giving up over 2 yards per route. Their 799 yards allowed to tight ends and is the second most in the NFL. This is a secondary that's allowing the 9th most yards per pass and 8th most EPA per pass. Overall, they defend and play action well, so this is a game the Rams should be able to drop back and allow Matthew Stafford to attack the weak links on the back end of the defense. And I do fully agree with this one as well. I don't see a world where the Panthers are able to stop anything in the back end right now. Mainly, because Trayvon Morgan suspended for the nut shot to Juwan Jennings at the end of the San Francisco 49ers game. And J.C. Horn, unfortunately, with a concussion. Rosemoon, former Ram, is questionable with a hip injury. This was recorded before. This article, I should say, was posted yesterday. But this is going to be a problem for the Panthers. Without these healthy players on defense, the Rams could have a field day against them. And I definitely see Mike LaFleur, Sean McVay, doing a great job calling these plays in the game. And you got to protect Matthew Stafford from the interior. From a pass rush standpoint, the Panthers rank 30th in quarterback pressure rate. However, a lot of that is because they struggle to generate pressure from the edges. Nick Scrouton leads the Panthers' edge rushers in pressures with 23, which is 20 fewer than Byron Young. With that said, the Panthers do have the ability to blow up a game plan from the interior. Derek Brown is one of the most underrated players in the NFL because he plays for the Panthers, I agree. He's especially a force in the run game, but he does have the ability to get after the QB. Last week, Brown had 5 pressures against the San Francisco 49ers. If there is a weak spot on the Rams' O-line, it's on the interior. Coleman Shelton can get overpowered, while Steve Avila and Kevin Dotson both have their moments in pass protection. Brown could easily be a problem for Shelton, who has struggled against power-based players. Yes, he can be. I do fully agree. Coleman Shelton is going to be big, as is Steve Avila and Kevin Dotson. They may need to help out on that side with Derek Brown, because if the Rams can't get the run game going, this isn't a game where I'm too concerned about that just because of the secondary injuries. This could bode for other teams, of how other teams like the Lions, like the Seahawks, who have better team lines than this team, can definitely get after the quarterback and stop that run game, which Seattle did a pretty good job of. So I would like to see the Rams do a better job. Even the Bucs did a good job of stopping the run game too. I'd like to see this run game still get better heading into the end of your season, into a playoff push for sure. More so for the run game here, I don't see the Panthers generating pressure to sack Stafford, also because they'll just throw the ball away. He's very good at that too. So I don't see the pass rush being a problem for Stafford, but for Kyren and Corum, this could be an issue for the run game for sure. And lastly, you got to play 4 quarters. The best thing the Rams can do in this game is take an early lead and gain control of this game in the first half. However, they need to play 4 quarters. Earlier this season, the Panthers were down 26-3 to the Cardinals and brought it back to within 1 score. That's the Cardinals Classic. They were down 17-0 to the Dolphins before winning that game. In their wins against the Cowboys and Falcons, they showed going into the 4th quarter. This Panthers team can be put away early, but they are more than capable of climbing back in games. There was one instance this season in which the Rams allowed a team to climb back into a game after taking an early lead. The Panthers aren't the Philadelphia Eagles, and if the Rams are able to continue at their current level, this game shouldn't be close. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, the Eagles game, the one good half of Eagles offense the whole season was against us. So that's more of an aberration to me than anything. I don't see the Rams taking their foot off the gas whatsoever in any games this season, and I do think the Rams will have no issue with playing 4 quarters whatsoever. And comment down below right now your keys to victory. And just real quick for the Rams, no Tutu Atwell in this game. He is still dealing with his hamstring injury, hopes to return next week. His 21-day practice window is open. Cam Kitchens, the safety, questionable with the shoulder injury. And Puka Nacua is questionable with a calf injury as well, the D tackle. Both Ford and Kitchens right now are expected to play, but we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Remember to hit that subscribe button right now. We're on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. So if you want to be part of that journey, hit that sub button and click the notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content pieces covering all things Rams. Leave a like on this video for week 13 being underway. Leave a like if you had a good Thanksgiving. Leave a like as well for the stream coming back tomorrow. Josh and I will be back 9:55 a.m. Pacific time. Rams Panthers Sunday, early one here to end out November. Leave in the comments down below your thoughts on the Witherspoon injury and how he fits in with this team. Leave your thoughts down below on the waiving of Joshua Karty, what you think. And comment down below your key to victory. To me, it is going to be to cover Tet McMillan to really take away this past game so we can kind of stack the box against Rico Dowdle. And my score pick, 30-14, I have the Rams winning. Comment down below your score prediction as well. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon tomorrow for our stream.